immediately following this, they issued an announcement that they were going to be using random lie detector tests and other things to track down leaks because it was very clear they're afraid that somebody is going to come out of the event and say, I got a problem with this. And so they're sending a message that they're trying to shut that down. But this is tied to something else that they've done in the past couple of weeks, which is to say reporters can't report on what's going on in the Pentagon unless they have the permission to write about it from the Pentagon, which is contrary to the way reporters act. And I'm just wondering, from a journalistic perspective, what the message is when you go to that kind of authoritarian approach to free press and the ability of American military officers to express their views.
So I can't remember whether it was the Military Times or the Stars and Stripes, whichever the oldest in-house newspaper is. But I was reading a long essay about an anniversary of that paper and what George C. Marshall said during the Second World War, when I think General Patton complained about critical, subversive stuff appearing in the newspaper, in this military printed newspaper, and it being damaging to his authority. And Marshall saying, no, I'm sorry, but this is good for the troops. It's our values. It's their views that are being reflected. It's good for their morale. But more importantly, it shows them what they're fighting for. This is pretty unique in the history of global militaries. That it has a publication, more than one, that is critical of itself. So what Hegseth is doing, is obviously far broader than that. It's aimed at the independent media in general. That it's fundamentally un-American. It weakens America, not having the exposure to independent, free media questioning, the holding to account, the speaking truth to power. This is how non-democracies behave. And I think in Hegseth's own case, well, of course, it's the actions of a weak man. He's extremely nervous. He's frightened of his own shadow. I think at some level he must know he's not qualified for this job.
Well, of course, you experienced this from the perspective of, I think you were at Aspen when he said, "Oh, no more. You can't go and talk to think tanks anymore," too.
Yeah, he described the Aspen Security Forum as an evil globalist organization, and pulled.
Well, that's true. Let's be honest. It is.
Yeah, deeply evil and obviously globalist. But the combat commanders, everybody was pulled. Anybody with any Pentagon affiliation was pulled. So not just the combat commanders. And these are people who greatly value the opportunity to interact with counterparts from around the world, but also with members of the media, the private sector, that this is part of their public-facing role in their jobs. And so, this was not, I think, to put it mildly, popular with them, because they understand that the military does not exist in isolation. It is part of the society it serves, and this society is a democratic one that follows the rule of law, or at least we thought it was. Hegseth, the more macho he tries to, cartoonishly macho he sounds, the more I realize that there is a sort of hollow lack of self-confidence there. And this is these are the actions of a weak man.